Watch as I transform these nails into sleek, straight, and slim nails while creating a beautiful ombre effect. I'm Nadya Stratu, a nail educator and technician based in Toronto with over 12 years of experience in the industry. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and you can also find me on Instagram and TikTok for more tips and tutorials. First, I want to mention that these nails were not done by me initially. Since it was my first time working on these hands, I didn't know what type of natural nails I was working with, or how thick the previous product was. That's why I always recommend using extra care when removing product for the first time, to avoid overfiling the client's natural nails. Here's my first trick during removal. If you turn your client's hand and start removing the product from the left side of all 4 nails, you'll save time and make the process more efficient. After you try this method, let me know in the comments if it helped cut down your removal time. Also, if you want to save even more time during the removal process, the speed of your e-file plays a huge role. It's highly recommended to use a higher speed, depending on the color notch of your bit. For example, when I worked with the purple bit, I was removing at 27-30,000 rotations per minute. Also, don't forget, no pressing. The rotation of your bit will do all the work, even without you applying pressure. As I was removing the gel, I noticed that these nails tended to grow downward. So, while removing the product from the top, I also filed underneath to give the nails a lifted, more elegant look. So, the first step is complete. Let's move on. While I was removing the gel, I noticed that the index finger had a crack on the side, and the ring finger didn't have enough length. To fix these issues, I prefer to work with acrygel or polygel. You might think it takes more time, but I like to spend a bit more time during the first session to fix everything. That way, I know for sure that my client will fall in love with the results and will never want to go back to where they couldn't achieve the look they wanted. When working with hard products like gels, polygel, or acrygel, always make sure to use an elastic base underneath. Now you might be wondering, why isn't she doing the manicure part yet? Well, here comes another trick. I always plan my work ahead. If I know I'll need to file to achieve that perfect shape, I leave the manicure part for the end. I don't want to risk damaging the client's skin during the filing process. So, keep watching to learn more tips from me. For working with polygel, I use an orange stick because it has the perfect 45-degree angle, along with alcohol and an oval brush. The best type of brush to use is one specifically designed for acrylics. By the way, if you've worked with acrylics before, it will be much easier for you to adapt to polygel. Personally, I found it quite difficult at first because I was so used to working with gels. But I kept practicing, and now I have no issues working with it. Just a side note, this tutorial was recorded back in February 2022, and I've only just had time to edit and upload it. So please hit that like button to motivate me to upload more content for you. By the end, I decided to fix the other nails with polygel as well. Since I planned to do an ombre effect, I opted for white acrygel. Once everything was cured, I used the e-file to smooth out the surface. This makes filing the shape with a hand file much easier and more efficient. And here comes the most beautiful part, when you can finally see the transformation take shape. Who else loves the filing process? Let's move on to the manicure part. To achieve the cleanest manicure, the most important step is detaching the skin from the nail plate. This makes it much easier to use the bit later on to clean the cuticle area from the nail plate. Of course, don't forget to communicate with your client throughout the process to ensure they're comfortable and not feeling any discomfort. I prefer to work with the Tornado Diamond Flame bit. So far, it's been the best bit for me. In the forward position, I clean the left sides using overlapping motions. Once all 10 fingers are done, I switch to reverse and clean the right sides. Don't use high speed, as it can damage the skin. Lower speed will give you better results. While cleaning the right side, I gently lift the keratinized skin so that in the next step, I can easily cut it with the ball bit. To remove dust and any small particles stuck under the proximal nail fold, I use my dust brush, lightly dipped in alcohol. Write this trick down. It's a genius move, right? For the last 3 to 4 years, I've stopped using primers, but I never skip the step of dehydrating the nail plate. For this, I recommend using Scrub Fresh by C&D. It works perfectly for prepping the nails. Look at those nails, they're already looking gorgeous. I apply a thin layer of gel base on all 5 nails, so I'm not worried about it running into the sidewalls. Next, I'll be painting the tip, or more accurately, half of the nail, with white to create that baby boomer effect. Using an ombre brush, I'll gently fade the color towards the skin. It doesn't need to be perfect, so don't worry too much about the transition at this point. You can do all 4 fingers at once, but I only did 2 for the sake of recording. In the next step, I'm applying glitter gel close to the cuticle. I've chosen 2 types of glitter. The first is a fine shimmer, and the second is more chunky. I spread the chunky glitter more chaotically towards the center of the nail. After that, I'll do the final cure before applying the last layer of gel. I'm using a corrector gel from Soda, and the color is lavender. It's a beautiful sheer color with a subtle purple tint. You can achieve this look too by mixing a clear gel with just a small drop of purple gel polish. I work with the wet technique. This means I apply a slip layer of gel first, then add a small amount of the same gel on top to build the apex. I use a fine brush to help spread the gel. I prefer this method because it allows me to avoid filing the nail afterward. There are 2 ways to go about it. You can apply a bit more gel and shape it later, or you can take more time, apply less gel, but get the perfect shape right away. I chose the second option because the gel was running low, and I wanted to make sure I had enough for all 10 nails. After the final cure, wipe off the dispersion layer before applying the top coat. There's a reason for this. If you don't, there can be a conflict between the dispersion layer and the top coat, which can cause the top to peel off. To ensure your client's nails stay intact for the next 4 weeks, it's best to wipe them with alcohol. My last recommendation: apply the top coat 1 finger at a time. You can work in a conveyor method, which saves time during application. And when you get to the last nail, just give the whole hand 1 final cure to seal it all in. And here's the final result. You can apply hand cream or oil, but I prefer using skin hydration because when I shoot video and photos for content, the oily skin doesn't show as well. Let me know in the comments which trick you'll be using in your own work. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. It really means a lot to me. See you soon. Bye.